So hello learner, welcome to our lesson. We are continuing with our subject on human resource management, and today we are continuing with the separation strategy. And in today's lesson we are looking at effects of employee separation, and there are positive effects, there are negative effects, but we are going to start with the positive effects that may be associated with employee separation. So within a given work environment, if separation takes place, then it is possible that an organization can be able to reduce its labor costs, where an organization had, for example, 1,000 employees, and they have reduced with 500 employees. They remain with 500 workers. So these 500 workers who remain can be able to help in the reduction of costs, and that organization can continue operating and go back to productivity. Then number two, opportunity to inject new thinking into an organization. If an employee resigns from a given work organization, then that particular organization can use that opportunity to bring in a new employee who can have new thinking in that particular organization in order to enhance its operations. Then number three, another reason why separation can be positive is that leaving employees can be able to obtain better opportunities. So learner, it is important to note that sometimes an employee could have worked in an organization and that organization did not have an opportunity for promotion. So that worker could be able to get greener pastures and be able to improve on their career prospects and so on. And then number four, better motivation of employees who remain in an organization. Take an example like in this case. This organization was having 1,000 workers, 500 have left, 500 have remained. So it is easier for this organization to be able to motivate those workers who remain because there are fewer. Then better engagement of employees, jobs can be enriched in that particular work organization, and employees given an opportunity to do higher level loading activities, and that can be able to enhance employee engagement within that particular organization. And then also, dear learner, when a section of an organization, for example, experiences labor turnover, then that organization can restructure or reorganize that particular work section to be able to at least improve on its performance. And also, when separation takes place, an organization can be able to make better decisions, because you might have been wanting to make certain decisions, but when you have all these kind of workers, sometimes it may not be possible, sometimes even due to maybe the high hierarchy levels. So with a maybe shorter organization, because of restructuring, better decisions can be made within a given working environment. So learner, these are some of the positive effects of employee separation. However, there may also be some negative effects of employee separation. Negative effects of employee separation. Negative effects of employee separation. So what are some of the negative effects? So one of the negative effects, loss of experience. Loss of experience. So if an employee has, for example, worked in an organization, for example, for say 25 years. So this worker has 25 years experience. Now, this 25 years experience, when this employee goes, the employee goes with that experience. So that loss of experience from an employee who has had a seasoned career can be very, very dear to an organization. Then two, legal suits or cases, legal suits or cases. So for example, where an organization terminates employees, maybe say through a retrenchment, or they just dismiss a worker, and we have seen this at very high levels. We have seen this, for example, in the county governments, national governments, private companies, and so on. Cases will take time, and these cases are costly. So legal cases may also make an organization go through a lot of challenges if separation is not managed well. Then 3, negative public image. Negative public image. So if an organization is in the press for terminating 500 workers, 500 workers in this case, terminating 500 workers, then that one creates a negative public image that this organization is terminating employees, and that becomes a challenge. So number 4, difficulty in future recruitment processes. So what happens if an organization advertises for jobs in the year, say, 2017, then in the year 2019, they terminate the services of very many workers. Supposing in the year 2020, they also want to recruit, then prospective workers will be very skeptical that you may be employed in this organization, then with the time your services may be terminated. So that again becomes a challenge in relation to future recruitment and selection. Then 5, anxiety among employees who remain in an organization. So what we are saying here is that if you have 500 workers remaining in a given organization, they will start being very apprehensive that maybe we are the next people to be, for example, be terminated. So those workers will be anxious. And what will those workers start doing? Those workers will start having what is called psychological challenges. So what happens here, Lana, is that workers in a given organization, they will start having that mental frame of fear. That we are working for an employer who may reach a point and terminate your services. So that mental fear and those psychological challenges may also now lead to 7, productivity challenges. Now, why would this be a problem? What is likely to happen? Most of the employees will start searching for other jobs, because they will start have a feeling that the organization may, after some time also, carry out, for example, staff reduction. So productivity challenges may be experienced, and this may be brought about by workers starting to search for other jobs. And then there are also what you call cost implications. On separation. So that again becomes a negative effect of employee separation. Let us take an example. An organization that had 1,000 workers terminates 600 workers and remains with 400. So if now these 600 workers have to be paid separation, for example, severance pay at the rate of, say, 100,000 each. So you are going to have the organization spending almost 60 million shillings on that separation process. So 60 million shillings has to be spent, and that now becomes a negative implication of the separation process. So that again could create a problem within that particular work environment. Then customers also may start having apprehension that the kind of services we are likely to receive from this particular organization may not be consistent because of the changes taking place in the staff establishment and so on. Now, we have mentioned some aspects of costs here. So what are some of the costs associated with employee separation? Costs in employee separation. Costs in employee separation. What are some of the costs associated with employee separation? So one, recruitment costs. Recruitment costs. So what happens when employees leave an organization, for example, through retirement or through resignations, then that organization must start the process of recruiting in terms of, let's say, advertisements, or maybe searching for prospective employees. So that cost is associated with the issue of employee separation and so on. Then you also have what you call number two, terminal benefits. Terminal benefits costs. So here, for example, an organization may have to pay a severance pay. So that has to be paid by the employer. Then you also have what you call assessment tests, costs. Then four, you may also have legal costs for cases filed by employees. So some employees may not be satisfied with the kind of termination they went through, and those employees may file cases in courts of law. So those could also attract legal charges, and those legal charges and costs may be associated with the separation process. Then five, you may also have what you call training and development costs. So employees now who join a given work environment, they may need to go through, for example, placement, orientation, or induction training. So when these are being mounted, you may also have to have now trainers come in and so on. And when this happens, it means this particular organization is going to spend money on training and development of new staff, and that one becomes a cost that is associated with separation. Then there is also the element of hiring part-time staff. So sometimes when an employee has now left, there will also be a cost where part-time staff could be hired before now substantive staff are hired in those particular positions, and those ones also will be hiring costs that are associated with the process of separation, hiring costs that will be separated with, that will be associated with that particular arrangement. Then you also have what you call relocation costs. Some of the employees, take an example, you had an expatriate, and within the contract of the expatriate, it said that their home place is Australia or is in the US and so on. So the moment the separation takes place, they have retired or they have been dismissed, for example, then you have to pay the relocation costs according to the contract of engagement. So those are some of the costs that may be associated with the process of employee separation. So Lana, today we have looked at effects of employee separation, and we have mentioned positive effects of employee separation, negative effects of employee separation, and the costs associated with employee separation, where we have indicated that one of the positive effects of employee separation is that it can lead to reduction of labor, number one. Number two, opportunity to engage and inject new thinking into an organization. Then number three, leaving employees can be able to obtain better opportunities. Then number four, better motivation of employees who remain in an organization can take place. And then number five, those employees who remain in an organization can be engaged more in terms of their jobs. And then number six, restructuring and reorganization can be done within a given setting because of the reduction of the workforce. And then number seven, an organization can be able to make better decisions and faster decisions due to the reduced hierarchy. Then when it comes to the negative effects of employee separation, number one, loss of experience. For example, an employee who has worked for 25 years, when they leave an organization, that is a big loss. Two, legal suits or cases. And then number three, negative public image, especially if an employer is sacking many workers. Then number four, difficulty in the future recruitment processes, where the employer would not be taken seriously as an employer. Number five, anxiety among employees who remain in a given organization. Then number six, psychological challenges or the mental fear workers may have in terms of working for an employer who is sacking employees or dismissing employees. Then number seven, productivity challenges because workers may start searching for other jobs. Then number eight, cost implications in the separation process. The employer may have to spend huge amounts of money to pay for the separation. Then we have looked at also now the costs associated with recruitment, and we have said number one, recruitment costs. Number two, payment of terminal benefits. Number three, assessment test costs. Number four, legal costs for cases filed by employees. Then training and development costs, number five. Number six, hiring of part-time workers. Number seven, relocation of workers who are leaving. So those, Lana, could be some of the costs that may be associated with separation of employees. And that's why we keep on saying it's important for an organization to plan its human resource to ensure that that particular organization does not have to spend a lot of money in terms of paying for costs that are associated with the process of employee separation. So Lana, before we finish our lesson, which was on effects of employee separation, I want to leave you with an assignment. And your assignment, your assignment for today's lesson, assess the costs that may be associated with employee separation. Assess the costs that may be associated with employee separation. So Lana, that is your assignment. Assess the costs that may be associated with employee separation, and that is your assignment for the lesson of today, which was effects of employee separation in our subject of human resource management. So thank you very much for being active in our lesson.